A cable marker is a symbol to place or attach the color of the wire and also the tag of the wire to. Show a cable in the drawing, you have to assign a cable marker for the existing wire. Therefore, for cable creation, there is no option separately to use cable marker from the schematic tab and from the insert wires. While your numbers pan out, you have to select cable markers. The Inserts component dialog box will be shown in the cable markers area. There are several predefined blocks that you can select. Then in the command line you will be requested to specify the insertion point for the cable marker. Click on the desired point, there is Edited Cable Marker dialog box will be displayed and a cable tag area, you have to enter a tag of the cable. Also, there is an option to specify the color of the wire in the water color or the area. Choose generic and then select a desired color that you want, then press OK button. Now a dialog box will be shown. If you want to insert a child marker, select OK, Insert Child. Not that if you don't want to insert the chalkboard marker, just select Close button after choosing the answer child. But then another cable market will be available. Then as you see in the command line, you have to specify insertion point to put the child care marker. Now click on the desert point. As you see, the other cable marker has been placed, which is same as the main cable marker, therefore we can call the main cable Mercury as parents and the second one can be called as a child. If you want to show the name of child care, the marker, so you have to unhide text stock. Let's see another example. I'm going to repeat the procedure for another wire, so just click on the cable markers 2 and repeat the previous way. Is it the cable marker? Then you will be prompted to insert some channel components, not in this part. If you intend to show the cable facties, just unshake the hard text, click on Insert Child button and finally insert the child care marker. Well, as you can see, the tactics will be displayed next. Escape to exit the command. The reason of using SIR single arrow is to label a warrior and define where it is coming from. Here, I have prepared an example to explain it in detail. There is a warrior number which is specified. In the other part we have their reference number. This arrow is called source signal arrow, which has reference number of this warrior and refers to. The other part is named destination signal arrow, that includes the reference number of source signal wire. So they are linked and those are connected in the wire network. To show you how to create such as this connection in the schematic type of reburn and insert wires. Voyeur numbers, choose a service or two, as you say, the command line, you will be asked to specify the endpoint of the wire. Then the signal source code will be shown. And in this section you have to specify a code number. This code is used for linking the source fire to the assassination of wire. The other part is description edit box. And you can write here the desired description for your signal source. There isn't. BOTA is for inserting the code which is recently used in the drawing. Also, it is possible to specify the codes that are used so far and the active project and in the existing drawing. The other useful option is Signal Iris Style, and you can select your desire to style. Now I choose OK button, and in the next step I will be asked to insert the destination arrow. After choosing OK, I have to select the wire and for destination and as it is mentioned in the command line. I do that, and this nation signal arrow is inserted that shows the reference number of a signal arrow. If the word that you are working with has not free and doing inserting signal arrow, you will be asked to add a branch to display this case. I'm going to insert the signal arrow in this letter. Therefore, I select the source arrow and the warrant. Because of choosing this wire, I will be asked to add branching wire. As you see, a new wire will be drawn and I need to specify the endpoint to draw it. And the next step, the signal source code will be shown and I specify my desired options such as code and style. And then I choose OK. And finally, I will, as specified, this nation signal arrow. And this section, I will show you how to assign via numbers to the trip haze boss, and also I'm going to assign wire number to a trip haze molder, secrets to the sidebar numbers to the trip haze boss, and rephase motorcycles the trip haze boss. And molder circuit can be used to do so. From the insert for numbers drop down, select 3-phase 2. Then the true face of our numbers $box will be displayed here. You can see 3 areas. The first one is prefix area to set prefix value for wire numbers. The prefix area can be used to select for a defined value for the prefix value. You can use list box and choose the desired prefix. As you can see in the word no frame, the preview of the wire numbers is available here. The selective prefix has been set. The second number is written after prefix value, which is named base of wire number in base area. You can enter the starting number and increase or decrease the base of wire numbers by choosing these arrows. The third part is suffix value. You can enter the suffix value or choose the predefined value for the suffix and the maximum area. The numbers of war can be selected. Each number that has chosen the preview of the values will be updated automatically. Debras OK, and so they require to assign via number. First of all, I'm going to explain about electrical cable. Electrical cable is an assembly of one or more wires which insulated and used for transmission of electrical power or signals. Sometimes based on the drawing, it is needed to show the wires of a cable separately and where the wires coming together or to bring together to create a single cable. As you see, the help of AutoCAD Electrical in such instances, the funding source and fan out this nation can be used. And as far as you can see, the wires that come together and form a cable and the end of the cable. You can see the similar wires that comes out from the cable and is thrown in the middle of this sketch, which is the cable. So this is obvious that the funding for now to makes it possible to convert multiple wires into the single line. Here, I intend to define these 3 wires as source signals and the other boys want to be as a destination signals, for example, this wire as a source and the other one as a destination. First of all, you need to add those markers to do so. The source tool can be used in order to choose this tool from the schematic tab in the Insert for Years. For your numbers panel, select the funding source from the signal arrows drop down and the section. You have to choose the style of the source marker from the list and you can select the desired one. Next, it is needed to choose the orientation for the source market from the VA connection orientation area. You can select your desired orientation based on your requirements. After that, you will be requested in the command line to select a transition point on the wire. Click on the insertion point and the signal source code dialog box will be shown for you. Enter a value in the code added box. And also, you can write this description. Then she's OK, Butson. At this time, the source destination signal markers dialog box will be displayed. These options can be used to insert matching the summation marker. If you choose no what's in the matching, this nation marker will not be inserted. The second option, no, don't ask what then why do you select the spot then after a source marker is inserted, you will not be requested for inserting the matching the summation marker. If you want to insert the matching destination after the source marker, select the Yes button. If you don't want to be asked to answer the matching destination or not, select a Yes, Don't Ask. Often in this case, the matching this nation markers will be added for every resource automatically. Here are 1, 2 solutions then, because I need to ensure that the summation marker exactly after inserting serves this nation. After doing that, the source distillation signal markers dialog box will be shown for another time. Here you are asked to select the signal the assassination to choose the desired one, and the next step. You will be prompted to specify insertion point. This is the destination point and you need to select it wire, which acts as a destination or the point. That voice enter it. So I click on it and then for another time, you will be asked to specify the insertion point. Here it is clear that the surface water is linked to the destination of on the Voyager number and the description of a single source is applied to this destination wire. After defining the signal destination for another time, you will be asked to specify the insertion point and the command line. This command is for specifying the signal source, so I choose the other wire, then the signal source code will be opened for me. Therefore I need to enter the discharge code and description. And the next step, this dialog box will be this flight and this part because I want to insert the destination. Right after defining SOS, I need to choose Yes, Watson. So in the next step, I will be asked to define this starlet orientation and this dialog box. After doing that in the command line, I will be asked to specify the insertion point for destination signal. So I click on the wire that I want to be as of the station. As you see in the command line, you are asked to specify the insertion point, that means the procedure. is being repeated and will be continued until you press escape. And this part because I need to define the other words as a source and the summation signals. So I repeat it and I do the previous steps for another time. Finally, by pressing escape, you can exit the commands. When a new war crosses the Autobahn, sometimes it is needed to avoid crossing them. This is possible AutoCAD Electrical to insert a gap or loop between wires automatically, and also it can be done manually. In order to do that, you need to set the options to do so. I have to choose the drawing. Here I use my own drawing, then I'm going to right click on my chosen drawing. As you can see, a show called menu will be displayed, and then to set the options, I need to select properties. And those are drawing properties and the shown dialog box. I'm going to select the source tab here. And the wiring is TRL and vary cross field. And in the far drop down, there are options which help us to avoid crossing wires or just not to do that. The loop, the gap, and the solid, each one that you use will be applied to the drawing automatically. So I'm going to select the new one, then I choose the OK button. Now, here I want to create a gap as loop and apply it to the solid crossing wire. So I select the gap option here in the word drop down. Then I will be prompted on the command line to just select avoid that I decide to remain soldats. And for the second time I need to select the crossing wire to insert a gap. As you see the command here, I click on it and as you see, the gap has been inserted. So to finish it, you have to press escape as the word gaps can be created. You can also remove them. In order to do that, throughput the previous steps again. I mean that you need to change the is start to solid one. To do so, go through your drawing, right, click on it and there here properties, then drawing. Properties and finally in the style type and wiring style area, choose the solid option and select the OK button to exit it. Now, here in the edit boilers, while your numbers drop down, selected delete Walkoff. And the command line, you will be requested to select the objects, therefore you need to choose warriors that you want to be connected. And finally, procedure to do that. Here, the gap has been delayed since. At each intersection, you can insert var connection dots as a T marker to use to mark it in your wire. You need to select a schematic tab of the ribbon and go through insert wires via your numbers panel. And also in the inserting markers, drop down select insert markers. Then you will be asked to specify insertion point. So click has your desired point to place it. As you can see, the command will be continued and you can insert an order to marker to exit the command. Unit to prison escape or enter. You can also modify your T markers, such as moving or coughing to do that. You can select your team marker by just clicking on it, then go through the whole tab and in the modify Panel, select and move to. After that, you need to select the base point for the movement. So click on it and then move and place a team marker by clicking on the points that you want. You will often need to solve the problems with shoulder wires or the wires, which are not connected to each other. Therefore, in AutoCAD Electrical, it is possible to check a wire segment or highlight the wires, a wire network. I mean that you can follow the wires segment by segment automatically and solve the problem. Okay, now let's see an example together. First of all, I have opened a demo drawing, for instance, to just trace and check the wires. Here from the Edit Voyeurs for your numbers panel, selected Check Trace Wire to take a look at command line. I will be prompted to select one segment. So I select the wire, which I intend to trace and check, chose it then to see the rest of warriors, which are connected to it, or in the other hand, environ network and command line. Many options are available to trace the wires step by step. Just press face. As you can see, the first segments have been displayed and this wire is connected to choose Mboya, which is a part of this network. Again, I press face and the other one and the gang. The other connected wires have been shown. This was the method of checking or tracing last segment by segment. No, I'm going to show the viewers of nuts first, Simon, tenuously. So the other option, A, we, just stands for all segments and a command line can do it. I press A and then the all segments are displayed here and are in blue color to pan or zoom this to the wire. You can write P or Z when you interpret the curve of B change to pan and by left clicking on the screen. You can move the screen. Now, I'm going to zoom on the screen to do that. You need to exit the pan mode and back to the previous step. So by pressing enter, it can be done. Now, in the command line, you can see the zoom commands and by entering Z, it will change to zoom out. Keep the left click of your mouse and then move it and it can be done. Now I'm going to exit the command so I press escape. To show you another example, I just want to cut this wire from the network and see their resolve in the wire trace. Therefore, I selected the two and I'm going to choose the disconnected wire here. I press A to show all segments and here you can see that this connected wire is not part of the selected wire, which means that this foliard that had been separated. This was the procedure, how to trace or shake wires in a drawing.